Okay, we're in session and cause number 329058. The case is styled the state of Texas versus Destiny Robertson. We have Miss Destiny Robertson appearing in court. How are you doing, Ms. Robertson? Okay, that's good. And Ms. Robertson is represented by attorney Peter Dahl. Mr. Dahl is appearing via telephone. Mr. Dahl, how are you doing?
Big level, but okay, I guess.
Okay, Mr. Dahl, Ms. Robertson's case is set for an announcement. Do you have an announcement you'd like to make, Ms.?
I can't hear you.
Okay, Ms. Robertson's case is set for an announcement. Do you have an announcement that you would like to make in Ms. Robertson's case?
I'd like to reset it for 2 weeks.
Okay, could you give us a 2-week reset? Okay, this case is going to be reset until October 15th of 2021. Mr. Dahl, your reset will be sent to you.
Okay.
I think this is your only case. You are free to go and you have a blessed day. You can get
Thank
the
you,
phone.
Judge.
All right. And Ms. Robertson, you can get your reset from our court coordinator on the 4X. Once you get your reset on the 4X, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. We in session in cause number 329496. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Armando Garcia Sosa. Mr. Sosa, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Sosa, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Mr. Garcia Sosa, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Garcia Sosa? I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Garcia Sosa, I have before me an information that alleges that on or about November 14 of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, in a public place, operating a motor vehicle, that you committed the class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration of 0.15 or more. Mr. Garcia Sosa, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes.
And to this charge, Mr. Garcia Sosa, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest? Okay, now, Mr. Garcia Sosa, before we go any further, you have a right to have a record. That is, you have a right to have a court reporter dictate everything that we say. Obviously, we do not have a court reporter here as right now. Do you waive a record in this case?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Now, Mr. Garcia Sosa, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
Mr. Garcia Sosa, I have before me a document that is titled Trial Court's Certification of Defendant's Right. Mr. Garcia Sosa, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
On page, well, at the bottom of this document, there's a signature. Is that your signature above the line that's titled Defendant? And at the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that are checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that? The second box states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that? I also have before me a document that is titled the Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment, also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Mr. Garcia Sosa, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this yours? On page 2 of the same document, there are 2 sets of initials. The first set of initials is on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes.
The second set of initials is on a line that is below a paragraph that is titled Discovery Admonishment. And it states, I do not request discovery in this case, and I waive my right to discovery and enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Are these your initials on this line.
Yes.
And on the third page of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Garcia Socia, I also have before me two documents. First document is titled the judge's explanation of defendants of right to defendant without an attorney. Mr. Garcia Socia, are these your initials on the line that says I waive my right to an attorney and I desire to represent myself?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that is titled defendant?
Yes.
I have another document here that is titled waiver of counsel for purposes of entering or proceeding to trial. Mr. Socia, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the, above the line that is titled defendant?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Garcia Socia, prior to signing and initialing all of these documents that I have just mentioned to you, did you have an opportunity to read these documents?
Yes.
And did you read the documents?
Yes.
And did you understand what you read?
Yes.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Mr. State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Garcia Socia, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State's Exhibit number 1 is the second document that you had acknowledged, that you recognize, and that you acknowledge your initials was on page 2 of this document, and you acknowledge that your signature was at the top above the line that's titled defendant. The state would like to use this document as evidence against you in your case. Is it all right for the state to use this document as evidence in your case? Okay. No objection. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Garcia, is there any evidence that you are currently mentally incompetent to stand trial? Okay, Mr. Garcia, I will accept your plea guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I'll also find that your plea guilty and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
The agreement is for 180 days probated over 1 year. $50 fine. 60 hours of community service. DWI education, drug and alcohol assessment, and interlock device.
Okay, Mr. Garcia, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in jail. However, you will not have to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail because you will be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $750 in court costs. The fine in court costs comes to a total of $1,172. You will also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month, and you'll be required to pay a Jefferson County DWI education class and initial evaluation fee of $125. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments that you will be required to pay, that is the amount that you will be required to pay each month during your probationary period, is $185 per month. Mr. Garcia Socia, will you be able to pay the $185 each month?
Yes.
You will also be required to perform 60 hours of community service, attend a DWI class, and have a drug and alcohol assessment. You will also be required to install a DWI interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate, and you will be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of this probation. Mr. Garcia Socia, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Garcia Socia, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Garcia Socia, you're gonna stand on the X that's near you, gonna follow the directions of our clerk. And once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
So we already got your signature and thumbprint, so all I need you to do is raise your right hand for me. That you've never before been given deferred adjudication or regular probation for a felony or misdemeanor in this or any other state. Sure. So do you swear that you've never before been given deferred adjudication or regular probation for a felony or misdemeanor in this or any other state? Okay.
Let me ask you something. Mr. Garcia Socia, are you a US citizen?
Yes.
Oh, you are? Okay, that's fine.
And you have no other pending charges that you're aware of? Okay. So, good to go. I just need you to report to this address that I've highlighted for you, as soon as you leave here, and I'll go over all the terms and conditions of your probation. No, you're fine.
Mr. Bailey, will you please go get Angel Fisher?
Yes, sir, you're good to go. So, just report
gonna
to
hold?
that address
Okay, that's
when you
fine.
leave here, and you'll grab this for over here.
Yeah, once you get Nealon. Oh, you are? So we can hold on that too. Oh, there go Bruce. Yeah. Mr. Cobb, are you ready? Bruce Cobb, are you ready? Mr. Cobb, you can take your mic off of mute if it's on mute.
He's been having computer problems.
Okay, Mr. Gums, you say he's having computer problems?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I know he just zoomed in. Let me ask you this, Mr. Gums. Well, do you have him on your telephone or something, or what?
I have another phone. I could call him off of.
You have another phone you can call him up on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, would you do that and put him on speakerphone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's no answer.
Okay, there's no answer. Okay, thanks. Okay, we'll just come back to your case later. Hopefully, he can solve his computer problems. Just hold on. You can put your mic on mute and you can put your video, you can turn your video off.
Okay.
You get Angel Fisher. Yeah, We're in session in cause number 329508. Case is style of State of Texas versus Angel Elise Fisher. Ms. Fisher, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Ms. Fisher? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Ms. Fisher, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Todd LeBlanc. Mr. LeBlanc, how you doing?
Good, Judge. Thanks, sir.
That's good. Ms. Maxey and Mr. LeBlanc, well, Mr. LeBlanc, do you have an announcement you'd like to make in Ms. Fisher's case?
Judge, I've conveyed an offer, dated offer, and she's rejected it.
Okay.
So set it on the trial.
Trial date, okay. Give us a trial date.
January the 17th, 2022.
Okay, case is reset to January 17th, 2022. Mr. LeBlanc, you can get your reset. And Ms. Fisher, once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go. You have a blessed day. And I thank Mr. LeBlanc is on the case.
Yes, sir.
And you have a blessed day as well. You're
Thank you,
excused.
Judge.
Okay, Edward Nealon. Todd. You have to sign. We're in session in two cases. First case is cause number 319112. Second case is cause number 324264. Both cases are style of State of Texas versus Edward J. Nealon. Is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Nealon?
I'm just fine. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Nealon. You're here represented by your attorney, Tom Burbank. Mr. Burbank, how are you doing?
Well.
Well, that's good. That's good. It's better than being the opposite of well.
That's true, Judge. That's true.
And Mr. Burbank, Mr. Nealon's case is on the motion to revoke probation docket. Mr. Gilliam and Ms. Maxey, what is the recommendation?
Your Honor, if I may, we have an agreement. I'm asking for a 2-week reset. It's for money. He had just got paid and made some money, but he said that everything can be taken care of within 2 weeks from today. And my understanding is if he does that, then these will be dismissed.
Okay, so is he gonna pay the balance in 2 weeks? That's what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay,
That's the understanding, Judge.
okay, so we give him a 2-week reset. Give us a date.
And if we can get the receipt, Judge, and they show it, maybe we can avoid, because he does work full time.
Yeah, he wouldn't have to come to court. I
He won't have
mean,
to come back, so if you pay it off before, you won't even come back. Just get it to me, and I'll go to the prosecutor.
okay, so we give you 2-week reset to pay off your balance. Once you get your reset, Mr. Burbank, you'll be free to go. And Mr. Nealon, once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day, and you have a blessed day as well, Mr.
You
Burbank.
too.
Thank you, Your Honor. Maybe it's
Okay,
here.
yes.
Thank you.
October 15th.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Cobb, are you available?
He said he wanted me to call.
Okay.
talk to the clerk. There's got to be a way. You know, you can talk to me, but at some point I got to communicate with them.
Oh,
So either I get them on the phone-
they're on the phone.
Well,
Mr.
right
Mr.
now,
Cobb,
all I'm trying to do is do a reset for you until your car can get fixed. And you,
hey, Mr. Gums, I can hear Mr. Burbank. You can take your mic off of mute. Okay, I think you just put it on mute.
You say put it on mute?
No, take it off. I'll keep it off of mute. Okay, it's off of mute right now. Now, Mr. Cobb, Mr. Cobb, can you hear me? Put your phone up
Mr.
to
Cobb,
your,
can you hear?
put your phone up to the speaker. Mr. Gum, okay. Mr. Cobb, can you hear me?
no, okay. I can hear you now, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Cobb, what is your announcement in Mr. Gum's case?
Well, we don't want to plead the case, but I got to get him here. And his car right now is out in the shop. And the only time he can get his car out is sometime in November. Is that right, Mr. Gums?
Yes, sir. It'll be finished within these weeks, but yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Gums, where do you live here in Beaumont?
To pay, right?
I can't hear you, sir.
Okay, Mr. Gums, do you live in Beaumont? Do you live outside of this area?
Right?
Oh yeah, I live outside the area.
Okay. Okay, hold on. We'll give you a reset date. Give us December 3rd. Okay, Mr. Gums, your case, and Mr. Cobb, Mr. Gums' case is going to be reset to December 3rd of 2021. Your reset will be sent to you, Mr. Cobb, and Mr. Gums, stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. This will conclude your case. Mr. Gums, you're free to go. You have a blessed day. And Mr. Cobb, this is your only case. You're free to go as well, and you have a blessed day.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did Mr. Cobb hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, his reset will
Hey,
be sent to
Quentin,
him.
give me a call after we finish, okay?
Let me get him off. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Yesterday. Gardner's hadn't appeared. That wasn't on the docket. What happened? I just did that. Well, now, we're back in session, court's motion to revoke probation docket, which was scheduled for 9 a.m. on today's date, October 1st of 2021, in County Court at Law Number 2, Judge Terrence Holmes presiding. Our final case is cause number 325506, case is styled the State of Texas versus Jared Gordon. Mr. Jared Gordon was scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 a.m. for the court's motion to revoke probation docket. Mr. Jared Gordon's name was called at or about 9 a.m. at the courthouse door by the court's bailiff, and Mr. Gordon did not answer. Mr. Gordon has not appeared in court since the court has been in session. The time now is 10:32 a.m. on today's date. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Jared Gordon? Jared Gordon's name was just called again by the court's bailiff. Mr. Gordon did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Mr. Gordon an opportunity to appear in court. He has not appeared in court. State, do you have a motion?
Yes, Your Honor, state would move for a bond vote.
That motion will be granted. Warrant shall be issued for the arrest of Jared Gordon, and Jared Gordon's bond shall be forfeited in cause number 325506. And this will conclude the calling of both the motion to revoke probation docket and the announcement docket, both of which were scheduled at 9 a.m. on today's date, October 1st of 2021, in County Court at Law Number 2, Judge Terrence L. Holmes presiding. Everyone, please have a